much, Bennett. The next poet speaking will be Mac Rodriguez. The name of her piece is If Hope Were a Color. This piece is, she said, "This spoken word is long overdue, written in the midst of a pandemic lockdown. It stems from the writer's freshman year thoughts from the year 2019. After much time in prayer, the words flowed and the colors really came off the page. While listening to this poem, give yourself the chance to truly experience the human connection with color, with the hope that is Christ."
Cool. Okay, so this is my spoken word, If Hope Were a Color. We all reach a point in life where color becomes more than just a color. More than just a pigment or a hue or a saturation, a projection and reflection of light, a result of cones and rods working just right. We all reach a point in life where color becomes more than just a color, more than just a crayon in a box. I have been blessed to love a person unable to hear a note without the ability to hear a new pigment with every song. Blessed to love a person unable to differentiate between certain colors, but knowing that theirs was their favorite all along. Blessed to love a person unable to simply talk about life at face value, but able to exchange the colors we thought our friends could be. Blessed to love people unable to make life ordinary even if they tried, but able to paint lives in the ways we call extraordinarily. We all reach a point in life where color becomes more than just a color, more than just a crayon in a box, becomes more like a trinket, a location, a person, a moment trapped in time that you will never forget. I didn't know it then, but it would become a moment that I would never forget. When we all found out that she died, I did not know her and neither did he. But our roommates, they did. Standing on the vigil that night, we put light to candles, put a fight to hold back tears for another student not coming back to campus, to hide our fears that next time another student could be one of us. If fear were a color, it would be the color red, a dark, burnt red. We mourned for her, and yet we also mourned for the living ghosts that walk with us between classes, haunted by the death of a girl who should have been sitting among the masses. We mourn for our friends who were lost in disbelief, missing in a sea of grief and a million questions that we weakly answered with, "I don't know." When I saw my friend cry for the first time, our grieving roommates were not with us. We left after the vigil to run. Round and round the track we went, running from our feelings of helplessness or running towards answers we couldn't find. I don't know why we each started running that time, but I know it ended with a still cry. I know that evening ended with a seat between us as we held hands to comfort the other in silence. Even in that moment, we felt hopeless, uncertain how to aid one another while also being a reminder we cannot fix their hurting hearts. If mourning were a color, it would be the color purple, a faded royal purple. The day after, a storm brewed and poured on our small town. Sometimes right after a storm ends, the sky stays gloomy, covered by clouds that look unfriendly and daunting and tucks you into bed for the night without a mention of the sun's beams. And sometimes the storm can only conceal the bright ball of hot air for so long. Sometimes when you walk out of classes for the day, the left side appears really dark, but one step over to the right and a golden ray hits you. And that ray, well, let me tell you about hope. If hope were a color, it would be the color of the sun peeking through a stormy sky. If hope were a color, it would be the color of a gathering family, lighting candles to honor a life. It would be the color of silent presence when someone needs to cry, the color of choosing to live even when someone else has died. Do you understand how hard that is? Do you understand how bold that is? Do you understand how growing up and growing old that is? If you relate to this in any way, I am so proud of you. Listen, if hope were a color, there's no doubt in my mind it is not the color of Christ rising from the grave. No doubt in my mind it is not the color of a people we'd call saved. Let me tell you about my roommate. My roommate had a knack for painting. Her art blessed me with its presence every time I walked in our room to see her smiling over her latest masterpiece. And they were all masterpieces. My roommate also had a knack for talking about people in all the good ways. She painted with her words as she spoke about them, and I listened attentively, because they were and still are all masterpieces. And when she talked about the girl that had passed, my roommate painted her with the color yellow. Matthew chapter 5, verses 14 through 16. You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on a stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. Now let me tell you about yellow. We all reach a point in life where yellow is more than just yellow. Is more than just a pigment or a hue or a saturation, a projection and reflection of light, a result of cones and rods working just right. We all reach a point in life where yellow is more than just a crayon in a box, is more like a trinket, a location, a person, a moment trapped in time that you will never forget. For the rest of our lives, we will paint the world with color. We will paint people with color. We will paint with brushes that we cannot put down and paint on canvases that look a little like hearts and hands. My prayer is that when they come crying, smiling, beaming, grieving, running and hiding, helping and binding, with open arms or need of them, without a home or building one, my prayer is that whoever they are, wherever they are, Lord, may you paint their lives with yellow, the kind of yellow found only in the cross, found far beyond this temporary life we are living, found only among the riches of your kingdom. Lord, when they meet us, when we meet them, let our eyes see sun rays piercing through the stormy seas. Let our hearts be made of gold from the King of Kings. Let our mouths speak of a land of milk and honey, and let our ears hear the wind whisper through sunflower fields. My prayer is that when you see the color yellow, you see hope, you feel hope, you speak hope, and you hear hope. My prayer is that when you experience yellow, you experience God. Because if hope were a color, it would be the color yellow.